Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Delicious things to eat. The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
We've passed on all we know. A 1,000 generations live in you now. But this is your fight.
Hello one, hello all. Welcome to the August 23rd through 25th edition of Show Business. As always, I am CP. We're going to do a quick audio check. I am CP, but otherwise, gents, go ahead. As you know what? We're going to go solo. So, Lindsay, go ahead and say hi. And see, now while you're talking, I want to make sure they hear me. Fuego, please talk while Lindsay's being highlighted so that we can hear all of us. Fuego, just talk, just whatever.
And I am Fuego Solo from Fuego Entertainment and more notably the Horror Show Channel.
Okay. And now we're going to switch to Fuego Solo. So once again, Fuego, say hi.
What's up, y'all? Que paso? Long days and pleasant nights for all you Stephen King peeps.
Okay, and this is my voice. Just want to make sure everybody can hear mine. And Lindsay, why don't you say hi?
Or hi, I guess maybe I shouldn't make just dumb jokes. I am the one with the girl's name. I am Lindsay.
Okay.
I'm the cute one.
All right. And it did not work. Okay, so that's why we did that, folks. All right, so back to old school. This will be for the audio. The podcast gets it from here. Hello one, hello all. Welcome to this August 23rd through 25th edition of Show Business. I am CP.
And I am Lindsay of My Two Cents and Nonsense. Hello and welcome.
And I'm Jamin Fuego. Que onda? What's up, everybody?
Yeah, mixing languages. I can't speak any of that.
Jamin
speak
Fuego,
Italian.
grade school Spanish, and silly movie assumptions since 2009.
So, did anybody see anything new this weekend?
I don't know if you're ready for what I saw or not.
That counts. That counts. That Ready or Not was technically Wednesday,
Oh, that's
But-
right, yeah.
but yeah, that counts. So, first was Angel Has Fallen, which was 21 million, which was the same number Good Boys was last week. Funny. Good Boys came in second with 11 million. Overcomer in third with 8.14 million. I had to get the points down because third was 8.14. Fourth was Hobbs and Shaw with 8.06. And fifth was Lion King with 8.01.
Wow, everything's coming in 8.
Yeah, I got a little tight there from 3 to 5. But that Overcomer, that's is that Pure Flix? What do we? That's one of those types
Those
of deals,
faith-based, man. They make
Yeah.
money.
I don't think it's Pure Flix. I think it's a Kendrick brother film. I could be wrong, but they're just like, I don't know if there's a Wes Anderson of faith-based films, but they're
Well,
you know what I mean? Like,
What's Breakthrough?
Breakthrough was something else. Breakthrough was by the same people who did Miracles from Heaven and Heaven is for Real, which were separate from Pure Flix. And good God, why do I know all this?
I don't know.
Say, I was the one raised Reformed Baptist, yo. Like,
Yeah.
I guess I just torture myself with these movies too much. It's been ingrained in the brain just a little bit.
I feel like a moron. There's a bunch of different studios. It seems. All right.
Yeah, there's Affirm. There's Pure Flix. There's a few of them.
Real
there's-
quick, just go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, there's a lot of competition in the Christian community too, man. It's like, I mean, should you be a Lutheran? Should you be a Baptist? Should you be a Presbyterian? They're all fighting for that chunk of God-fearing, in God we trust. So, yeah.
So to just catch up with the chat really quick, they were.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I just want to get this on the record. Breakthrough was 20th Century Fox.
Yeah, but who was the? Yeah, they might have distributed it. Who
Yeah,
was the?
no, production company.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so that actually at the time that was released, that makes it a Disney movie.
Real quick.
Although we did have Pure Flix earlier this year with Unplanned. Sorry, I just want to make sure all of the correct shout outs are being sent out here.
Oh, yeah,
Now we
yeah.
can move on. My obsession is over.
Well, speaking of surprising Disney movies, though, Ready or Not, technically a Disney movie. So,
Oh, that's right.
yeah.
Oh, is it Fox?
It's Fox Searchlight, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so real quick, just catch up with the chat because it was popping off before we even got here. What's up, Raiders? What's up, Tamara? What's up, Tom? What's up, Dale? That's you. What's up, Manhammer AR-15? I don't know what jokes you got for us tonight, but can't wait. Tina, what's up, Tina? Daniel Hammond, Mark F, Blu-ray Madness. You already said Beth S. All right, now you guys are just popping off with each other. A big pop off in the chat, and I think I'm caught up. Harso, what's up, Cecil?
Cecil.
Yeah, okay.
He asked if there's any recommendations for good horror movies about stage 4 clingers.
Oh,
Interesting.
oh. Would face huggers count? Like Alien? Would that count? Dude, single white female.
if you watch Wedding Crashers in a certain perspective and you think about it, that's a really creepy movie. Just saying.
What about the one
Ryan?
with Marky Mark from the 90s?
Fear.
Where he's like, let me in the
Fear.
house.
What's up, Robert? What's up, Robert? What's up, Ryan? I think we're caught up. Yes. Okay, so we're all caught up. If you're listening, we do this live on my YouTube channel, WILIscredia, every Monday night at 9 p.m. If you're watching and you don't want to look at our pretty faces, the Show Business podcast is on your local podcasteries. So, yeah. So
We
all
need to do
caught
a
up.
quick shout out. White Tim in the chat. I mean, come on, man. Like, he's my newest follower on Instagram. Come on, show some respect.
Oh, excuse me. White
Yeah.
Tim. White Tim with that blue wrench. What's up? So nothing nobody Angel Has Fallen, Overcomer.
I almost saw Overcomer because I'm like, I'm the guy. I should go see Overcomer, and there are just other things that I had to do, so I kept putting it off. Maybe I'll see it for next week. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll make the commitment to see it for next week.
This is so all right, so I have stats for Angel Has Fallen. Not like any of us have much to say about it, but yeah, it's a film series. Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen, Angel Has Fallen. Their opening weekends, 30.3, 21.6, and 21.3. None of those films have grossed over 100 million domestic. And Olympus Has Fallen was the first one with 98.9 domestic. London grossed 62.5 domestic, and Angel Has Fallen's obviously only been 1 week, but it's at 21.3. I don't know about you guys, but what about these numbers says keep making more movies?
Gerard Butler. The most American Scot to ever walk the face of this earth, Gerard Butler.
I would honestly say just second week is going to dictate the most. If this just falls off and doesn't do domestically in its entire run more than maybe 30, 35, I'd say, nah, there's really no point to continue making these because, I mean, interest has waned. I think this was the diehards who like these kind of movies that went out the first weekend. I don't think it's going to get much in a second weekend, although it is a pretty barren wasteland next weekend. There's really only that Blumhouse thriller, Don't Let Go. There's nothing else of major, interest, and everybody's bracing for the storm of it the following week. So I was just gonna say we might as well take the end of the show and put it up front because I'm looking at new releases for next week, and Don't Let Go. Let me tell you, it doesn't speak to me that much. I think I've seen the trailer once a while ago, but that's not.
Are you saying you're gonna let go?
Yeah.
Don't let go.
I'm not going to let go of my money for that ticket, that's for sure.
I might use my A-list for it, but,
Did you notice, by the way, that all three of the Fallen movies have been released or made by a different studio? Focus Features, Film District, Lionsgate.
Really?
Did not know that. No.
Yeah.
Focus usually gets put out by Universal, right? Focus.
Well, maybe this is the distribution. Is that what Lionsgate is? They're like a full studio, right?
Lionsgate distributes. They're a little funky, but Focus usually gets put out by Universal.
That's
so,
true.
Yeah, that's a weird stat there.
Yeah. Touche to you with those statsy, sir.
I was just looking at the box office, and I'm like, wait, hold on, those are three different names.
Fuego, what do you got on Don't Let Go?
Don't Let Go as far as
synopsis.
Yeah, it's a time travel sort of thing. So this guy's niece gets killed, and it's almost like a frequency kind of thing where he gets a phone call from her in the past, and so he's trying to advise her through the process of averting things. So it's like a tech thriller, time travel-y kind of thing. And I mean, since it's Blumhouse, I have moderate interest. I'm trying to remember if we actually reacted to a trailer or not. It's definitely, I mean, it's an African American primary cast, and so I think for that reason it does have a good chance of getting that audience. But people didn't really like The Intruder that much, did they? And that was of a similar ilk. So I don't know. I mean, the performances look good, and I do like these sort of frequency, type of setups, I suppose. But it doesn't look like it's bringing anything too incredibly unique or novel to the proceedings. But I mean, since it is really the only big release, if Cecil and I don't review it for the horror show, which I don't think he's got too much interest in it either, because it's not horror centric enough, I'll probably end up reviewing it. So.
Yeah, I do remember seeing the trailer for that and thinking that looks kind of interesting, but then I literally haven't thought, and that was like a month ago or something.
Yeah, they just decided to dump it at the end of August. It's not been really promoted very heavily or anything like that. So
this is like, I'm telling you, these last 2 weeks, I have way more faith and I would put more money into stuff that's being released late January than late August, because these last 2 weeks have been so strange. Yeah. I don't understand what this is. Don't Let Go have its own weekend. Meanwhile, 3 months ago, you got 3 major movies just chewing each other apart. I don't understand any of this. And oh boy, look out when It comes out, because that's gonna just annihilate.
Yeah. I mean, I would say Good Boys is a major success, though. That was the one that I caught this past week, and it was immensely more heartfelt than I actually was anticipating. I just put my review up on Infuegotainment earlier today for that, and I thought it was just going to be stupid raunch fest. And it actually, especially in the third act, I was like, this film kind of has something to say, and it took me off guard. And since I grew up with a trio of friends where all of us kind of splintered off to a degree for similar reasons, one of my buddies and we called ourselves Trinity, not the Beanbag Boys, but nonetheless, it was me, my friend Mike, and his cousin Morgan, and we knew each other since kindergarten, did pretty much everything together. But Mike wanted to date tons of chicks, and that was more of his primary priority. And then Morgan was into magic cards and video games and stuff like that, and me, I wanted to play music and be a drummer and do other things like that. So we just kind of slowly drifted apart as time went on, and so I was like, man, this movie's really speaking to me more so than I was anticipating. Yeah. Damn, dude. So and it's it just wasn't total sleazo slime like I was expecting. It had a little bit more to say, and I thought that was kind of cool. So
yeah, most movies are like, your friends aren't going to be the same after high school. This movie's like, your friends aren't going to be the same after elementary school. It's just like, dude.
Reality check.
This is cutthroat for kids. Well, it's rated R, so we'll,
Yeah, and that young Asian kid who was having the party, every scene he was in, I was just dying, man. I mean, just his like little smoothness to him and stuff. And
I figured out his connection to somebody else. By the way, I figured out fairly early, but.
Without spoiling things.
Yeah,
I thought the dynamic with the villainous older girls was good, and I mean,
that was a fun change of pace. Like they weren't, like they each legitimately kind of wanted or needed something from it. It made sense. It wasn't just like a bully for the sake of being a bully, like in a lot of high school movies. I don't know.
Would you? I don't know. With the drone was what, $500?
Yeah, that seemed a little cheap.
well, not only that, but how much does ecstasy cost these days? That $500 is worth 2 or 3 pills of like I thought they were.
Well, it was Molly, first of all.
Is it Molly? Aren't they the
it's
same
like
thing?
a pure form or something. Yeah.
It's like super ecstasy, or supposedly. I wouldn't know. Why would I know the answer?
I don't know any of these things.
Yeah, no, I've never been to Vegas. Don't worry about it. But I mean, I guess it depends on the state. Do we know what state this was shot in? Because like each state, like depending on how strict laws are, the prices could go up and up and up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't ask how I know that either.
I just felt like like if they were just getting a couple of units of drugs, $500 seemed like an awful lot. Like,
I mean, you also, who knows? You could be. Maybe I'm just trying to defend the movie because I like it. The price
it's
of
not a
things was
backbreaker or anything. Yeah.
No, worst movie ever. I hate it.
Why does she have hairs on her lips? It's just like, oh. One of the best bits in the movie.
Oh god, and Jacob Tremblay is so good. I was thinking about that a lot this week. Like that kid, like I don't know, man. He's just freaking adorable.
Give it time. Let him hit puberty first, and then let's see him on the other end.
Yeah, well, it dropped less than 50%. So I mean, that's a film that it's made like what 41 here, and then overseas it's made like another almost like 20 or something, 15, 20. So that's a big success, I would say, especially for a first time director. I mean, it's pretty cool. Those guys had only worked on The Office before, so
21 to 11 is pretty good, all things considered.
Yeah, for a small little comedy like that,
yeah. You look at 3 through 5, and it's just a dogfight down there. 8.14, 8.06, 8.0, like.
Well, and even Ready or Not, which was at 6 with 7 and some change. I mean, I know since it came out early on Tuesday/Wednesday, it ended up with like 11 and some change. But that's one with all of the just critic buzz and stuff. People thought it was actually going to do better than it actually ended up performing. And it's a fun movie, but I do feel like maybe the hype machine came at it a little bit harder, because while I enjoyed it, I didn't love it. But I mean, Samara is great. It's a fun movie.
I thoroughly loved it. It maybe it might have like dragged a little here or there, but I really liked it.
I've heard really good things about it. I just didn't get around to it.
Maybe it needed a little more comedy, or maybe because it's kind of in spurts, and then but then it comes up again, and I don't know. It was a lot of fun.
That scene in the barn, man, I tell you, that's where I was just like, this chick's a badass.
Yeah, right, dear God.
There's a movie that's technically being released on Wednesday, and I don't have any information on it. I don't know how wide it is. I don't know if either of you are looking at Box Office Mojo. But if you look at the release schedule, it's either Wednesday or Thursday.
Sahu?
Yeah, that could be it.
Is that's the 3-hour like sci-fi kind of thing? I'm not mistaken.
What is that?
I have no idea, but it is 3 hours long.
Yeah, it's supposed to be very lengthy. I want to say it's an international film, maybe from India. I can't say no for sure. I mean, there's also
India,
yeah. And also, who can forget the fact that they're trying to milk Spidey for a little bit more money before the partnership is dissolved, because the extended cut of Far From Home arrives this weekend for the holiday weekend, and that's another thing. Being a holiday weekend, you would think, with people being off on Monday, there would be a bigger, more marquee release hitting, and the fact that there isn't is kind of a surprise.
Yeah, I'm like, for some reason mentally I had it coming out Labor Day weekend, and no, it doesn't make sense. It's an extra day, I guess. I don't know. People think one last trip to the beach, but I mean, whatever.
Well, there is an limited release, that Fred Durst directed movie called The Fanatic, where John Travolta is this obsessive fan who's obsessed with Devon Sawa. That actually looked so much better than I was anticipating with the talent on paper. I was like, Travolta looks like straight up bonkers in this movie, man.
Those are 3 words those are 3 names I would never imagine to hear together. Fred Durst, John Travolta, and Devon Sawa, all on the same project. Okay.
Sawa's trying to make a comeback right now. He's in the Escape Plan sequel, maybe?
Is he?
I know it's a Stallone movie that had just recently come out. He's the villain in it, of all things. And then he's in this, where he's playing this aging Hollywood star that John Travolta's obsessed with. That's the one Durst is directing.
Did he technically die in Final Destination?
I think they mentioned in the second film that his character was killed. The girlfriend from the first one, whose name is eluding me right now, is Ali Larter. Yeah. She mentioned that he died, and there's like some newspaper clippings and stuff that she looks at. But I mean, who knows? Maybe that was false information she was given or something. I don't know. Bring him back for that reboot, man.
So I've got some interesting numbers here.
Oh.
For Sahu or Saho. It's however it's pronounced. It's supposed to be the biggest action movie to ever come out of India, and it's being the budget is 3.5 billion Indian rupees, which comes out. Which unless I fucked up horribly, and there's our one for the show, that's just shy of 500,000.
For 500 million.
500 million. Sorry, 500 million. 500 million. Yeah. All right.
I'm like,
Yeah,
500,000. I can.
Like that's an
I can
extra
get
zero.
that together.
Hold on, let me count these numbers one more time. One,
Count those
tens,
rubies, sir.
hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, million. Oh, actually, never mind. It's only 48 million.
Yeah, 500 million's.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Going like
That's like a James Cameron budget right there, man.
Yeah,
Or
that's
a
why I was
Guillermo
like,
del Toro budget.
Yeah. Okay. That makes much more sense. 48 million. Okay.
Yeah,
Which
500
Hey,
is
would
no
be
joke.
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro's desired budget for Hellboy 3 that they denied him. So
One day, sir.
You brought up Spider-Man. Why don't we stick with that and touch on the good old nails right in the coffin that were discussed this week.
yeah, D23 was this weekend, and so lots of Disney announcements. Obviously, there's in fact a ton. If there's anyone who really cares about the first image of Cruella or the Lady and the Tramp trailer, or more info about all things Marvel and Star Wars related, because the mouse owns all of those, obviously. But yeah, Kevin Feige came out and addressed the situation, and then separately Tom Holland came out and also addressed it. Holland said he loved the audience 3,000 and that it's been a crazy week, but he went on to reassure everyone that Spider-Man 3, despite not being in the MCU, is going to be super compelling and cool. There's room to play with other villains and characters that he wouldn't necessarily be able to. And then Feige, despite being vague about it, we were discussing it off air, he gave a sense of finality. And even though there's all the speculation that then negotiations are still ongoing, and even Jon Favreau commented and said, yeah, I'm still holding out hope that they can figure something out. It seemed like everyone is already past the point of thinking this could still be resolved. So
well, James Gunn was never supposed to have a job ever again.
Yeah.
So
never
That's
say
exactly
never.
what I was gonna say. Yeah. It's entirely possible that Sony's gonna suddenly need $1 billion, and oh god, what do we do? Okay, I guess we sell Spider-Man, and it's anything can happen. Corporate espionage. Maybe someone will just get taken out randomly on the street, or
I don't know anything about anything, but
Yeah.
but Disney asking for a half, if that's accurate, that's nuts.
Well, it's Disney. They're big dicking it because they're Disney and they can big dick it, so they're just swinging around. And I guess they're hoping that maybe if because Sony produced Spider-Man movies will make less money than Disney produced Spider-Man movies, and so maybe Disney is trying to bank on the fact that there'll be so much less that 50% of what they would have made if they stayed was I'm not.
No, I see what you're trying to say. I don't
think
that
it's gonna
math-
work.
Yeah,
It's
I
not.
don't think that adds. Yeah.
Well, Disney in the coming days, as THR and Deadline both reported, they lowered their number. They lowered it from 30 down to 25, and
Really?
yet still no resolution, unfortunately. So, I mean,
Well, when you
Sony's
open
playing
with
hard
it-
ball, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they have. I think this is weird to say because Sony has made so many bad movies and they're such a horrible company, and they perpetuate just terrible Adam Sandler movies and other things like that. But they're kind of the heroes in this, because someone does need to stand up to Disney and say, no, you have enough toys. This is ours. We're going to do something with it. I wish it was someone else, but go them for doing it.
Well, we saw in
Honestly,
South Park what
respect.
happened to the Jonas Brothers when they tried to stand up to the mouse, and it didn't really go so well for them, unfortunately. So,
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
But this is just business too. Like, Marvel was desperate in the 90s. They sold Spider-Man off for like $50,000 or something stupid like that.
well, the company was about to go bankrupt, remember? I mean, so that's why they sold all those IPs and stuff. It's crazy.
You're not wrong, but this is just how copyright law goes. And again, I can't get over that article that I read that if Disney hadn't made the copyright law change that they made in 1978, Spider-Man would now be in the public domain and they could just make Spider-Man movies and it wouldn't matter. But because of some shenanigans that Disney pulled, now they're being slapped around like this. It's karma, yo.
Yeah. Take that, Disney.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's actually going to cost them anything in the long run. They still made 5 movies this year that made $1 billion each, and the one that made almost 3. So
Keep counting too.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
What I feel is so weird. I find myself rooting for like Universal and Warner now, no matter what it is they're making, just because like I don't want a monopoly, and and that's what Disney is. And you know, Sony, if you can figure it out, that's great. I wish you the best, but your track record sucks.
Yeah,
No,
well,
you're
they
not
need
wrong.
other properties to do well, or else they probably will eventually have to sell off Spidey.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they failed their way into a near billion with Venom. Let's be honest here. That movie, it's not really good enough to warrant that much money, but it did, and people love it, and they're going to make more. But hey, it made 800 million or whatever the hell.
It's true.
What? It's Spider-Man? It's
Venom.
Venom. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Spider-Man crossed $1 billion, I think.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, sorry. And then and I love how later this year we have Jumanji 2 opening up against Rise of Skywalker. Ooh, segue maybe. So maybe that's another thing. Maybe Sony really is trying to go head to head with Disney as much as they can, because it was after the success of the first Jumanji movie that they said, yeah, wait, when does the next Star Wars movie open? Yeah, Jumanji 2 is coming out that day.
Brave. It's brave.
It's very brave.
It really is. It's kind of stupid. Well, I mean, there's that fine line between being brave and being just stupid or whatever. So,
Well,
Yeah,
Jumanji
I don't know,
had
man.
crazy legs, man. It was in the
Yeah.
top 4 or 5 for 2 months, 3 months, something like that.
It just hung around, man, and word of mouth especially, because I feel like a lot of people, myself included, were averse to just like, oh, they're actually going into the game, and it's a video game now instead. And I wasn't too keen on the concept, but then when I finally got around to watching it, I was like, this is surprisingly very entertaining, and I think I might say I loved it, honestly.
Yeah.
It's okay. It definitely has its moments.
A lot of people
yeah.
didn't like Last Jedi too, so that
This is also
that
true.
kind of helped.
And
So,
when's that remake coming? By the way, you guys are running out of time.
so the I guess what is this? This is the sequel trilogy, is starting to take shape, and I don't want to call it a trailer because it was a lot of sizzle reel.
It was very
Is it-
sizzly.
Yeah, it was about 80% sizzle.
I thought it was an
And-
advertisement for Sizzler for a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
I went to the
And-
Sizzler, closed the place.
And we got some interesting footage. First thoughts. I'll start with you, Lindsay. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. What say you?
So many thoughts. Lots of sizzle. It's kind of disappointing. Ooh, 2 minutes of footage. Oh, a minute and 10 seconds of this is. And also, why did they do release order? That was so weird to see original trilogy
Yes.
and then prequels and
Yes.
then new stuff. Like,
Uh-huh.
I mean, I get it. You know, that's how like the generations. But also, like, why do you just say a generation story? This is 3 generations basically here, because the episode 1 came out in '99, and this new one's wrapping up, and that's those are
20 years later.
multi-generational gaps there. So those little nitpicks aside, I hate that the Emperor's in it, but I guess it looks alright. I want to see what this double lightsaber scene is. I think it's a dream sequence. And if she does fight someone with it, I hope someone's like, oh, so if I just hit in the middle, yeah, okay, now your weapon's just now you're just using 2 lightsabers.
Which
I don't know.
they were if you remember way back when she had that staff.
Staff. Yeah, I've always thought she was gonna end up with a double-bladed lightsaber.
After Force Awakens, everybody's like,
Yeah.
oh, she's gonna have a Darth Maul type thing.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and sure enough.
And that's
there's
fine.
that.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
no, of course.
I swear to God, though, the whole like flipping out, like doll story, the kid's action figure. You hit the button and it does a thing.
It swings open, yeah.
I bet you anything that's from like they're like, oh, we gave Kylo Ren this like cool lightsaber, so we have to give Rey a lightsaber that does a thing that we've never seen before. I don't know. What if it like flips out? Genius!
Yeah. What purpose would you have for it as like the figure 11?
I could see that, like, you block a thing and then you like angle it and then maybe you can like twist a thing out of someone's hand or something. I don't know. But like holding it 2 hands like that's a little awkward.
Yeah, they've gone generations without needing much more than a saber, but now you got the parallel.
Well, hey man, how long were they using flintlock pistols for? And now today we got this shit like 100. You gotta eventually rent it. You gotta go for it sometimes, man.
So
I just sounded funny because of the fact that, like, after everyone was so abuzz this weekend with the Mandalorian trailer and, you know, the announcement
Which does
that
look
they
cool,
are
right.
going to do the Obi-Wan show, you know, which got me insanely excited because I'm just kind of assuming they're going to take some of the ideas for the feature that never ended up happening and just kind of, you know, bring those along with some other ideas and do 6-8 episodes, whatever. But it almost felt to me like they're like, oh, hey, don't forget, there is still, like, another Star Wars movie coming this Christmas, and it's the last one. And that's because the fan response is that, like, The Last Jedi divided the Star Wars community, like, insanely, so much more so than I was even anticipating. I can't say that I was particularly fond of a lot of what they did, but it's not like the worst Star Wars I've ever seen or anything. So I still wonder, though, what Episode 9 would have been if Colin Trevorrow was able to do his original script, you know, if Carrie Fisher hadn't passed away and they didn't bring JJ in to completely rework the script, like, where were things actually going to be going? You know, how much different of a film are we actually getting? This trailer, though, I got to say, even though it's not even really listed as a trailer on the Star Wars YouTube. They were like D23 special, blah, blah. They don't even say trailer in the title for it because it's not really a trailer.
Right.
But the reveal at the end in that Sith-looking, you know, cloak and everything, and with having a red saber, who cares if it's double-sided? It's like, oh, do you like my new saber? I got it at the mall. That's cool. But I mean, they're teasing what I think would be kind of dope is if everyone's been speculating if Kylo's going to get redeemed. They hinted a little bit about the War of Wills when he didn't kill his mother in Last Jedi. And I mean, if they did the flip-flop, I think that would be really interesting. If the Emperor, I mean, it happens with Luke in the comics in Dark Empire, where the cloned Emperor actually turns Luke over to the dark side, and for a good chunk of the story, he's evil, and he's there with the Emperor, and they're going around doing stuff. Now, that's not canon anymore, obviously, but I mean, I thought it was a cool idea, and who knows if maybe Palpatine is the one who can, you know, Snoke couldn't do it, you know, provided they're not the same person, but if Palpatine can turn her to the dark side, and then something weird happens with Kylo, I mean, there's a lot of interesting things to speculate about here. But yeah, as far as trailers go, this wasn't really much aside from that big little GIF that Lindsay said is floating around now. So.
I have two images that I'll share with the YouTube audience that I want to get to, but I have a theory that the reason they're not showing so much is kind of on purpose, because if you think of both Force Awakens and Last Jedi. I mean, Force Awakens, we had a considerable amount of footage. What was it? The Thanksgiving before. We had like a good 45 seconds to a minute, a year and a month ahead of time. Last Jedi, I think, our first real bit of footage. I mean, crap, Rian Johnson released a 20-second thing on day one of filming that people got to chew on, even though we knew that was basically the last shot from Force Awakens. It just seems like we saw a hell of a lot more of the process a lot sooner. Here we are, August. We're 4 months away from. We're less than 4 months away from release date, and we've got maybe 30 seconds of footage, and the whatever they released a couple of months back, that has more genuine footage. What was that?
No, I was gonna say when the jump trailer.
Yeah, yeah, the jump. Yeah, so there's two things that stuck out at me. I guess I'll get to the smaller one first. The thing that I think, and I'm right. All right, Raiders, I'm right there with you. And I will show that image to the YouTube crowd. C-3PO's eyes are red in the trailer.
Yeah, lots of people in the chat have been mentioning that, actually, too.
Yeah. I think the Emperor is possessing C-3PO.
Oh, is that what it is?
No,
I thought
I'm
Sith is yellow eyes.
Yeah.
He always did have yellow eyes, to the best of my knowledge. But
No, I'm just being silly pants. Don't worry.
Am I? Hold on. By the way, I'm seeing a full golden arm. Did they fix his orange arm from Jedi? Was that fixed?
Probably. Yeah.
I guess they would have had to. Yeah.
Was
the
it
only
fixed
reason they
in
did
Jedi?
that was to. Do we see him in Jedi?
Barely, right at the base.
Yeah, it was.
when they were
It was
hiding?
more so a cameo, a little quick, just a little bit, so they can have Anthony Daniels in every Star Wars film.
Because there's I'll say this, and it's merely a rumor, and apologies if some of this comes to fruition. But there's a rumor out there that there's time traveling in this movie.
There is a rumor. Yes.
I've been did Red Letter Media start that, or did someone else jump on that?
I wouldn't be
That's
surprised
right.
if it's them.
Red Letter Media did talk about it, and I think it's gotten some wind since then. You're absolutely right. I think that's where I first heard it, and then.
Well, this double-bladed lightsaber thing is harkening back to the last time travel movie they did earlier this year when Thanos had his weird sword thing.
Oh, and they time traveled in Star Trek too, so why the hell not do it in Star Wars? I mean, come on.
And JJ did say F it.
And I mean, the one thing I'm going to say for maybe the reason why we're not seeing very much is because remember how quickly JJ had to turn this over. He had this whirlwind.
That's very
shoot.
true.
He had how many weeks to write the damn thing, which is definitely one of the things that makes me apprehensive about this. I mean, I would imagine he had some ideas, from his initial, just working on episode 7 and whatnot, but he had to just throw this together, and they are probably, since they didn't move the date, and everyone was like, how are they still going to make that December release date when they have this much time to film it, this much time to edit? They are probably busting their asses like nobody's business to get this done in time right now. And I mean, especially with a lengthy runtime and just the extent of post-production for a film like this, they are probably sweating.
How
man.
long
They're
it takes
back
the
to
effects to look
walls.
good. Like, dear God. And to export them once they are done. Sorry, it's mind-boggling how long it can take.
I mean, thankfully, they've attested they're going for more practical in this new trilogy as they set the standard for with 7. But nonetheless, it's like, still, man.
Well, that shot of Rey and Kylo fighting on a falling thing in the ocean, that was entirely practical. They crashed a ship and
I was like, wait, what? They filmed it in a hurricane. But, guys, red eyes on 3PO. What? Speculate.
There has to be some sort of significance to it. I mean, maybe she's hooked back up with Rey, and Rey is dark now and welding a red lightsaber, and so she's reprogrammed him. I don't know. I mean, there are Imperial. I mean, think of K2SO, for instance, and how he was originally programmed one way to be one sort of droid, and then, I mean, maybe droids could go from good to evil. I don't really know. Unless this isn't even C-3PO, maybe it's just a similar droid of the same design, especially with the whole arm thing that you're mentioning. Maybe it's a different droid. Maybe it's not C-3PO.
What if it's not time travel, but what if Star Wars isn't going to stay in the galaxy far, far away, but jump to string theory galaxies far, far away, and they're going to be like dimension hopping or something
Multiverse?
in order... Yeah, what if they're going multiverse in order to bring in like the Emperor Palpatine from like another dimension to be the new Emperor? So like they grab Palpatine as he's falling, so he doesn't die. They grab him out of the air and they bring him into our dimension so that he can be the Emperor here now in the future. And while they're like traveling, they see evil Rey, they see evil C-3PO, they see like, I don't know, gay Han Solo, they see
that's all the computer people need is the keyboard warriors need is gay Han Solo, and then the movie's officially crap before it even starts.
I think some people would love that though.
Some people would, sure.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? If it's like a 3-second shot of like Lando and Han like holding hands, the internet would implode.
Well, I mean, they implied in the Solo movie, right, that there was some sort of weird sexual thing with young Lando and his droid. So I don't know, man.
It's very true.
Osimo, are you a pleasure model?
So 3PO is merely software that was built.
He's hardware.
That was built by the man who became Darth Vader. What if they just rework his wiring and maybe it's as simple as that?
I'm trying to remember if when they switched his voice thing over in like one of the earlier movies in the original trilogy, and he was talking in whatever of the hundreds of languages that he's familiar with, that there was an eye change or not. I'm trying to remember. I cannot recall for the life of me. So
what if they go deep spy route and like C-3PO is a mole, and then when his eyes go red, that means he's like he's an operative for the Empire or
cool.
or whatever their name is now. Wow, how did I forget their name?
First Order.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun to speculate, and then some people get really, really wacky with it. And but yeah, it's interesting. I'm trying to remember if they showed him without the orange arm in The Last Jedi, because that was I noticed that before I noticed the eyes.
Yeah, because the arm was definitely different in episode 7. That was
Yes.
Obviously our first time seeing it. It was like a silver kind of arm that he had a replacement of some sort. And I think in one of the books, I'm not sure if it's Lost Stars or if it's Bloodline or it's one of those fill-in novels that they have so many of, and I've been trying to read a ton of them this year, and there's so many. It's arduous process, and some of them are really good, actually. I mean, Master and Apprentice, the episode, it takes place before episode 1, and it's a young Qui-Gon Obi-Wan story. It's very prequel politics heavy, but intriguing nonetheless about their differing
Politics
viewpoints.
sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
The trade
some of those are good.
Trade federation.
I've heard Bloodline is good. I know that's a Leia-centric novel that takes place shortly before episode 7. I've heard that's pretty badass. I've heard good things about Lost Stars. So there's supposedly a few good ones out there, but Disney is definitely milking the property pretty heavily with the comics and with the new novels they've been putting out too. So I think that's where you get the story in one of those novels about how C-3PO's arm is messed up and replaced, but not addressed in the films.
Sorry. While you were talking, I pulled up clips from Last Jedi. C-3PO has golden arms in The Last Jedi.
Both arms are gold.
Both arms are gold.
Okay.
I'm looking at a shot of him next to good old Oscar Isaacs. I'm forgetting his character's name right now.
Poe.
Yeah, good old Poe. Yeah.
Poe Dameron.
Yeah, I like Oscar Isaac a lot. He's great.
And so the other shot, I mean, we didn't have much. You talked about the fight scene between Rey and Kylo. I got very big Episode 3 vibes.
Oh yeah. The end
Obi-Wan
battle
and
between
Anakin.
Obi-Wan. Yeah.
But you see, instead of lava, it's water because they're bringing tranquility to the universe instead of lava, which is a destructive force.
It rhymes. It all rhymes.
It's like poetry. Hopefully it'll work.
Hopefully it'll work. It all depends.
It just really makes you wonder though, because she's got the blue saber there, obviously. So I mean, who knows when the whole red saber switch transpires and everything. I mean, that's either it's a dream sequence, either it's later in the movie, or I mean, maybe she gets tempted, and then just like where Luke got tempted in Dark Empire and then was able to just go back to the Force of the Light because he was grappling with it the whole time. Maybe she turns dark halfway through and then is able to fight it off with.
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, there's lots of different ways that we can go with this, I suppose. But
So,
I love the I don't know, man.
I don't know.
It's not my job to write this. It's my job to call it crap when it's crap.
Yeah. The other shot that really kind of jumped out at me, and it's a hot second that when she's got her dual red sabers, she just looks different. There's something about her facial expression that is. That's not Rey from 7. That's not Rey from 8. There's a bit of a delay, guys. I have it highlighted on the screen on the YouTube page. But she looks a bit more, I don't know,
She looks a bit more crawling in my skin.
a bit more Maleficent-y.
Yeah, I feel you there.
There's something. What if that is not Rey? What if that's there's another rumor going around that Rey's actually
Multiverse theory.
Yeah.
Multiverse theory.
Or does Rey get possessed by like the Force ghost of the Emperor or something?
Yeah, dude, I've heard like 4 different things where she's actually a clone. Somebody there was a joke. Luke from Razor Eye Reviews. He said one of his friends thinks that Rey is a clone of Luke's hand. That was found from the end of Empire.
That would explain a lot, actually, because that was his girl hand that got cut off. Everyone has a girl and a guy hand, and it was Luke's girl hand. So when they cloned it, it would become, it just makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God! So I'm sorry. I just need to go off on a minute here because that would mean if that's true. I mean I know, but like if that's true, that means they got the lightsaber that fell in Cloud City, and they got the hand that fell in Cloud City. What's underneath those cities? Is there just like a big dump of all the things that fall out of them?
Dude, it's Alita.
Right.
It's
Alita.
This.
It is Alita. Yeah.
That is perfect. Oh my goodness.
Bringing the universes together. Rey's gonna get pooped out of Cloud City, and she's gonna come Alita, and she's gonna come back up and defeat the Emperor. Woo!
But yeah, she looks like a bad dude. She don't look like the Rey I. Well, hold on. That's not this Rey. That's not the Rey I fell in love with.
Hey Ray. Hey Ray. Hey Ray.
Wait, would it make Rey more or less of a Mary Sue if she goes over to the dark side for a bit?
Total Mary Sue. Like, just can't be defeated. Are you kidding?
Anyway.
So pull away from Brie Larson, right? Shout out to Dino.
Yeah.
Can she be like a projection, a clone? Can she be possessed? Is it one of those things? Are we getting her like full heel turn? What
if C-3PO goes evil and his eyes go red and he skins Rey and puts the skin on his body and the eyes, and he takes out his
Texas
red eyes.
Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, and he uses his red eyes to make the double-bladed lightsaber, and he puts her eyes over his dead eyes, and he's like, I'm hardcore, man.
Well, all right. So
I would take this franchise to new heights. I must say, if they go that route, that's like JJ definitely only having a few days to write this script.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know. We'll just TCM it and 3PO's an operative and bring the Emperor back, and I don't know. Boba Fett's behind it all for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Which there's all the speculation that the Mandalorian actually is Boba Fett, having climbed down to the Sarlacc pit, and so I'm all for that.
It is. Is that supposed? Is that not a thing?
They don't have him talking. He's still dead in canon, and yet they put him in that video game a few years ago that came out around the same time, the Battlefront video game. So I don't know, man. He's one of the most bankable characters, and in the original, I guess it's the Legends mythology now. He actually, the Sarlacc couldn't digest him because of all that armor, so it spit him up. And that's why he was after Han in some of these sequel comics and novels and stuff. He was trying to still kill Han Solo for whatever reason, despite no more price being on his head. I don't know.
Guys,
by the way,
I want theories. I want something that I can play back in December and say you were so far off. What's going on with Rey at the end of this thing? Is it a dream? I mean, because Force Awakens trailer, there was a lot of that stuff that was just a vision sequence. There was a lot like Luke's hand on R2. I remember thinking, oh, what's that about? Oh, that was merely a vision.
She's a bastard child of Palpatine, and she is going to turn evil.
Yo, how old is she then? Because she's got to be in her 40s if she's a
not if she was like an embryo that didn't get implanted for 20, 30 years.
I don't know. I was just
freeze my sperm and save it until I am dead.
Yeah, exactly. We could. It's the galaxy far, far away. Who knows what kind of crazy sperm technology they got?
Everyone was thinking she was a Skywalker or a Kenobi, and those are really the two biggest debates. And they are going to reveal who her parents are in this. They said they are going to give a clear-cut confirmation, and they're presumably not going to be nobodies, because that was all Rian Johnson's idea to change that. Or who knows if Kylo was lying or not, but. No, I think she's turning dark, man. I do. I don't think it's going to be a dream sequence.
I wouldn't hate that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I just want to say real quick, what the reason the thing about Rey's parents being nobodies in Last Jedi is cool, because that makes Rey Spider-Man. And who doesn't want to be Spider-Man, where you could just be some random dude and then suddenly...
Batman, that's who doesn't want to be Spider-Man.
Yeah, I guess, but does it always have to be destiny? Does it always have to be meant to... Why can't just someone in the universe just be a cool person who happens to be a cool person in the universe?
But the whole franchise is built on the Force, and everything happens for you're the chosen one, and all that.
And they're billing it as the end of the Skywalker saga too. So even I guess that refers to Kylo, perhaps. Because
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
I'm worried about that too. I'm worried Rise of Skywalker means that like freaking Kylo is going to be completely redeemed. He's going to be a good guy in the end. And actually, what if this is like a setup for like another trilogy of films where Rey's like, "Hey guys, I was evil the whole time. Whatcha? Film over."
Another really bizarre, but I can't completely dismiss it, speculation / theory / rumor, is that perhaps somebody got a hold of Shmi's DNA. Who is Anakin's mother? Maybe Palpatine got that Shmi.
Shmi.
Now it's time for Shmi.
Wait, Shmi. Ah.
Wait, Shmi's the hook references. I love
think
it.
about it, because so Palpatine knows who Anakin is as a little kid at the end of Phantom Menace. But there's this 10-year gap between 1 and 2. Maybe he knows who her mom is and goes and I don't know, pays Watto a couple of good money to get a hold of her eggs and
before the Tusken Raiders get her or whatever.
Yeah.
I could see that. But so then Rey's not special. The baby she's gonna have is special.
No. Rey is so Palpatine dying. He in case of emergency breaks open the Emperor's sperm and they, I don't know, through the power of space magic, him and Shmi's eggs go ahead and that creates one Rey. And
well, I mean, back to so what if they are cloning the Emperor? That's what I'm still thinking they're going to cherry pick from that legend stuff. Is that let's say after they're on the run from the new Republic or whatever you want to call it, post Return of the Jedi, that's where the remaining forces of the Empire, that's where they're like, okay, they clone him, whatever, and maybe that's where some weird fatherly stuff goes down, and so Rey could be a Palpatine, fathered by a clone of the Emperor who wasn't even brought into fruition until God knows when. I don't know. I mean, maybe it was a younger Emperor. They cloned him, and he had to grow from birth as opposed to just cloning a brand new old guy. I don't know. There's a lot of weird directions that could go with this. So. I mean, maybe the Emperor will be significantly younger. He won't be super grizzled and crusty like in the end. Maybe if they did clone him, he will be more of a normal-looking Emperor without all the burns and messed up stuff on his face from the Yoda fight. I don't know. A lot of weird ways they could go with this.
So, in your opinion, what is the more far-fetched second to third film? Is it Empire to Jedi, Clones to Sith, or Return, The Last Jedi to Rise of Skywalker?
Oh, it's got to be or I guess what's
totally
the question?
this trilogy.
Yeah.
I mean, with different people writing them, and the fact that there wasn't a writer's room amongst these people, and they were almost handled as standalones, and it's like, hey, toss the baton and then just run wherever the hell you want with it, sort of thing. I feel like these have been very hodgepodge together to some degree, and while they're trying for cohesion to some degree with bringing JJ back, I don't know if we're going to find it. I actually was very satisfied with the transition from Clones to Revenge. I thought that actually was quite satisfying, connecting to, the original trilogy the way that they did. Maybe not as satisfying as the end of Rogue One, but nonetheless, I mean, still pretty good. And Jedi is my favorite Star Wars movie ever.
I think Empire to Jedi is really strong because Han gets captured and you have your reason. Theoretically, if you told me The Last Jedi is the end, I'd be like, okay, I guess that makes sense.
Death of Luke. I mean, the last Skywalker.
Right, and the hope is in the kid with the broom. Okay, there's the future. End of story.
The broom kid.
Yeah, but I'm gonna push back on you a little bit with Clones to Sith, because Sith had how many technical villains did Sith have? And they
there was the rule of two, though, and so, but yeah, I mean, you have to go back to like old Republic times to have like tons and tons of Sith. So I mean,
but so they kill off Christopher Lee. Then there's robot chest
General
part,
Grievous.
General Grievous.
Commander, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Well,
Mr.
and then
I
you
have
had
a bone to
Ven-
pick.
Ventress, was that her name? The one who was Dooku's little prodigy that you had in the Clone Wars. She was pretty badass.
so,
I thought
yeah.
Ventress was cool,
Yeah,
and
but
then
she wasn't
Anakin kills her. So,
in
or so
Sith?
you think.
in Revenge of the Sith.
No,
I'm
no,
talking
in
about.
the
In the
cartoon.
Clone Wars TV series.
No, I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, no, she's not in the movie.
Attack of the Clones to Revenge of the Sith. Revenge
Mhm.
of the Sith. It's just like, wait, who's the main bad guy here? Because it's Christopher Lee for a minute, then Anakin kills him. Then it's Grievous for a minute, then Anakin. No, excuse me, Obi-Wan. So my apologies. Hello there.
Hello there.
And then you find out, all the weirdos from Part 1 are hanging out on Mustafar, and then it's if anything, there's no true villain in Revenge of the Sith. Is that the name of the title? Man, I get them all mixed up.
Revenge of the Sith, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would argue it's Palpatine the entire time, and the fact that they're bringing him back at the end of this trilogy to round out the entire Skywalker saga, it's arguable that Palpatine is he's the villain of the entire Star Wars series, even if we don't see him really in well, we don't see him at all in 4, obviously, but and they only hint at him in Empire, if I remember correctly. So
Attack of the Clones, so Cyborg Man, Attack of the Clones ends with the start of the war, and Revenge of the Sith has the war continue. That's fair. I forgot about that.
And then
right
Clone
there.
Wars is the entirety of everything in between those 5 seasons or 6 seasons or whatever.
That's right. That's right. It's Palpatine until it's Anakin. Thank you, Cyborg Man. Cecil says, did somebody already mention that Rey at the end is a vision on Dagobah? Hey, listen, no derogatory slurs against Italians, please.
Slurm.
You can go to any kind of bar you want. It doesn't have to be a Dagobah.
Oh, that's just the worst joke you've ever made, CC. That's just the absolute worst.
I could say that. You guys can't say that.
Jeez. It's possible. It's most likely what it is. You're absolutely right, Cecil.
It's probably a vision. It's probably some nothingness that is merely there to make people like me just ooh and ah. But yeah. Okay.
So that's your theory, that this is a bait and switch, and that there is not going to be anything of like this extent with Rey in the trailer. It's just to get people all stoked up.
I thought they teased us hard on Last Jedi when they were in the throne room, whatever you want to call it. For
the stuff with Snoke, yeah.
Yeah, like I thought we were gonna get either some sort of team up, and to use a wrestling term, a double turn, and that didn't happen. So we could still get that where Rey ends up, going bad, and Ben ends up going good, but the guy killed Han Solo. He's got to die. If he's going
irredeemable,
good.
But he's.
Right.
I mean, yeah, he isn't going to survive the film, I'm assuming. But
yeah. My assumption is they're going to kill off Leia. I mean, just for the sake of.
I think the movie's going to open with her death, or at least open with her funeral or something, and then like Rey might have like some random memory. I know
they
there's
have
like the
stock footage apparently from the first film and a little bit from the Rian Johnson film that JJ is going to like intertwine in some fashion. I mean, that is still for me the big, because it was supposed to be a Leia-centric film, the way Colin, Trevorrow initially, because they were going to focus on Han in 7, Luke in 8, and then Leia in 9.
Right.
So, I mean, it's been just massive reworking, and when Colin tried reworking his script without a ton of Leia, that's where Disney was like, nope, and I don't think we're going to have you do this anymore. And so they were scrambling to find somebody, and they just brought back JJ, because obviously Ryan was not in a lot of Star Wars fans' good graces and still isn't. So
is he still getting his series or whatever later on? Is that still happening?
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
They still say he is, but I know the Game of Thrones guys are working on the Old Republic show, or film, I should say, or series of films. I think it's planned to be a trilogy, so lots of people are excited about that.
I'm not.
Yeah. So Luke of Razor Wire Reviews, who has a lot of Star Wars content, so I'm gonna trust him and blame him if it's wrong anyway. So they called it a quote unquote vision on StarWars.com, and then quickly removed that word and called it a moment. So let all that simmer.
That's a spoiler right there. That's why they removed it. Damn, I kind of wish I hadn't known that.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
I'm
well.
excited.
Well.
I'm excited either way. I just something big has to happen. There's got to be deaths. There's got to be. I'm not just saying one. Maybe we just clean off the whole original trilogy. Hey, Billy D, come back because we just got to make sure that
He's confirmed for this. I'm stoked that he's going to be in it. So
yeah.
By the way, someone just sent me that GIF of the lightsaber coming out, but instead of just a second blade, it's like a whole Swiss Army knife of it's like a serrated knife and like a bottle opener and a bunch of other. It was pretty good.
That's funny.
Okay, all right. So we talked Star Wars for a good half an hour, which is not enough for me, but it's time to move on. This is a normal episode at this point. There is other news, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
More theories. We could probably just do an episode on what the hell you think. That might be its own thing. But Halloween.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Halloween.
Not Paul Rudd coming back, as people were jokingly circulating a couple weeks ago.
Do you know how much it would have cost to bring him back? Paul Rudd's not doing Activia commercials right now. He's Ant-Man, for Pete's sake. It would have cost money.
Yeah.
But go on, Fuego. You drop it. You drop that horror knowledge on us.
Yeah. So obviously we've got the 2 Halloween films that are shooting back to back. Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, I want to say, is the third one. But at least confirmed for Halloween Kills, they are bringing back that character, none other than little Tommy Doyle from the first one, who was actually, obviously, the kid who, or at least one of the kids she was babysitting and being Laurie Strode, Miss Jamie Lee Curtis. But they actually had him previously team up with Dr. Loomis in, was it The Curse of Michael Myers, I want to say? And played by none other than Paul Rudd in one of his first acting jobs. And there was rumor that they were going to be bringing him back to play that character. Who knows if they tried and then just negotiations failed based on finances. But we're getting none other than one of the Breakfast Clubbers himself, who also played Johnny Smith in the Dead Zone television series based on the Stephen King book. But we're getting Anthony Michael Hall. It's kind of interesting. So I kind of dig the casting, I must say. It's I'm at least intrigued. They've piqued my interest with this, since he's not confirmed for both films, and the fact that they're shooting both films back to back. I mean, will he get killed in it? Will he be in both? I'm assuming they just don't want to divulge. Now, I'm not I'm not a super Halloween centric guy.
Yeah, sorry. I want some Halloween math, because Jamie Lee Curtis. So what? She was supposed to be a late teen in '78, right? Halloween '78 took place in '78. Judy Greer is supposed to be what? 30 at youngest. Because
what are you trying to say?
Well,
It's
so
rude to ask a lady her age.
No. So Halloween 2018 is only 40 years from '78. Jamie Lee Curtis, let's call her 18 in '78. That makes her. Oh boy, that makes her 58 now. She's got a kid who's got her own kid, who's 15-ish, 14-ish.
Yeah.
I think the math adds up fine. I mean, because Anthony Michael Hall is 51, Jamie Lee is 60.
Okay.
So, I mean, 9-year difference. Let's say he was like 10 or 11. It's 40 years later. He's 51. I mean,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
Also,
it's
I'm not
pretty
familiar
close.
enough with the franchise. I just wanted to be a heel. But
That's fine. No.
More wrestling terms.
Such a mark.
I'm such a baby face sometimes. I know, guys.
There was one other piece of Halloween news. Did you guys hear from John Carpenter himself?
Did I hear? No, he must have got my voice.
I saw his quote. He's like, "Oh, they're ending it? Yeah, I don't think so."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Good
Halloween
for him.
Ends might not be the end of Halloween.
Oh no, you
Especially
really?
I never would have guessed it.
I know, right? Who'd have thought? Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, isn't the math that the most recent movie made more than the entire franchise? Isn't that a thing? We're
Yeah, but that's just
worldwide.
math. No one likes math. Math is
That
dumb.
makes my brain hurt.
Hollywood likes the monies, and as long as it keeps doing that stuff, they're gonna just keep doing it.
Yeah, if both crush, I mean, maybe it'll be the end of the Laurie Strode Michael Myers intertwinement. But I mean, does that not mean that they'll find some other protagonist or someone to go against him? I don't know. We shall see.
Sandra says the math works. I'm 57. My kids are in their 30s. They could have kids. They could have kids, but if
They're a 15-year-old kid though.
yeah, it's close. I mean, that means Lori got to moving after that movie, and then her kid got to moving. It's possible.
The apple doesn't fall far in those situations.
Look, when you have a member of your family who's a psychotic killer, who's 6'8" and basically unstoppable, the moment you can have kids, you just start having kids. You just gotta live life.
Again, they're not related
He's
anymore.
not a member of the family.
That's right. I forgot. No, you're right. You're right.
No,
You're right.
Maybe in this one they'll reveal that he is, like they did in the original second movie.
Oh God, they're gonna. They're gonna Rise of Skywalker it and undo it another movie set and redo it just to undo it and to redo the undo.
Just to go back there that for a second, I don't know why they're hiding Luke, and I don't know why that's such a big deal. Force ghosts were a thing.
He's
What if
totally
they're
a Force
going?
ghost.
You remember when they put Anakin Skywalker, like Hayden Christensen, at the end of Return of the Jedi?
Yeah.
What if the Luke Force ghost is going to be young Luke?
Oh, so they'll like de-age him maybe or something?
Or it's just like an
That'd be
entire
awesome.
CGI construct that this is just has
Well, they
Mark
did it
Hamill's
with-
voice coming out of it.
They did it with Carrie
Please.
Fisher, right? So I
Please.
mean, and they did it with Tarkin. So
They did. And Samuel L. Jackson and Captain Marvel, like this is the studio that's been pushing that stuff. What if they're I mean, I don't think they'll do that, but what if they did?
God, I hate to jump back to Star Wars, but I want to ask you guys: isn't it ironic that only like Jedi's seemingly are Force ghosts, as opposed to like where's a Sith ghost? I mean, I've always kind of wondered that.
Maybe we'll
a
get
good
to
question.
explain that. We always learn something new about the Force in each of these movies, so maybe we'll get that.
I mean, maybe Palpatine is just a ghost, and that's what some people have also speculated too. And yet here we are back to it. Sorry.
I know. It's
Dude,
Star
I'm
Wars.
telling
How
you.
do you not talk about it? Like it's what happens.
It's gonna be its own episode. Just embrace it. It's gonna happen.
Well, they're also bringing back a 6th season of Clone Wars for Disney Plus, so that's kind of cool too. So, or a seventh
so much
season,
on
I should
Disney
say.
Plus. Wow.
Yeah. Another tiny piece of news, which technically is a little bit of both, but it's not cinema, and it's based off of television. But a trailer dropped for the Breaking Bad film, which is going to Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix in October. Yeah.
Yep.
El Camino is the title of the film, which is the car that Jesse drove away in.
It was an AMC show, though, right? Which is why it's kind of weird that it's going to Netflix. But
Well, but it had such a good life on Netflix, and so I can. It was a big. It's got some connections to Netflix. It makes sense to me. Also, El Camino stands for the Camino. If anyone gets that,
never would have
reference.
known.
I'm excited. I love that they kept it a secret for so long. That kind of a fun idea that worked out well for 10 Cloverfield Lane. It did not work out for Cloverfield Paradox, but I don't know. Who knows? Yeah.
All those Cloverfield retrofittings of taking movies that weren't intentionally to be Cloverfield movies, and then I mean, even with 10 Cloverfield Lane, which was great, they're like, oh, let's just slap a scene on at the end, and suddenly it's a Cloverfield movie. You know, I actually never saw Paradox, but I heard horrible things about it. So
Ditto.
it's called
I stayed
it was
away.
a particle initially. So
It's a trip. It's worth. If you're ever really bored one night, it's worth at least. You don't have to watch the whole thing. It's at least worth turning on and just seeing how far you can go. It's. I'm not saying it's good. It's just weird and dumb.
Sandra asks, do you think Disney Plus is going to kill Netflix?
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, kill no, but definitely give them some healthy competition. I mean, we have the streaming wars are really heating up. I mean, they might not give Netflix directly a ton of competition, but they'll definitely make Hulu and but I guess Hulu's owned by. I mean, you can bundle your Hulu, your Disney Plus, and your ESPN Plus for like $12.99 is what they're going to let you do. So I mean, Hulu, I guess they're going to continue as their own separate weird little thing, but Prime will be sweating a little bit. I know the Apple
Prime
streaming
is
service
pretty weak, dude.
Yeah,
Prime's had
I
a
mean,
good year with The Boys and
Yeah,
Ms.
Good
Basil
Omens.
or
their
whatever.
original
That's it, yeah.
content is okay. They have good months and bad months when you're looking for something, something that's not theirs to watch.
Yeah.
But $6.99, if they can maintain
Yeah,
that price
pretty
point
reasonable.
for a while, what's that? That's half. Is
Yeah.
that half?
How long will it stay at $6.99 now, and how long until
Right.
it goes up?
It's
And-
totally going to go up for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
A-list just went up. That was $19.99. I just got hit with my first 25, which still is okay. But
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I signed up when I did to lock in my price for a year at $19.99, but they forewarned me it's going to go up.
It's
But
coming.
I mean,
It's coming.
$6.99 is super reasonable, and I mean, with the amount of content they announced at D23, as far as the Ms. Marvel show, the She-Hulk show, they have 3 different Star Wars shows that they're working on. They've got the Loki limited series. They've got they've got the WandaVision series. They've got, I mean, there is so much stuff that they're also the Lady and the Tramp original movie, and there's going to be tons of those coming through the pipelines. I have to say about that Lady and the Tramp trailer, I thought it was going to be god awful, and I actually liked it. I will go on record to say that it looked cute, and it's not one of my favorite properties or anything, but I'll watch it.
I love that it's only Disney Plus though. That's like telling to me. It's like they know
as far as
nobody
quality.
really. Well, just nobody really likes Lady and the Tramp. If they release in theaters, it won't make any money. Just throw it on Disney Plus. People like it, it'll be fine. Yeah.
They also have this other film they can just dump if they have no confidence in.
Oh, it's
there
It's
was
called
some
New
news on
Mutants.
There's been some discussion about New Mutants recently, where did I see that?
There's rumors it's going to
Garbage.
get dumped on Hulu. So
At least put it somewhere. It's done.
Looks like New Mutants finally has some good news. Oh yeah, there have been some test screenings.
Oh my god.
That's all. Okay, yeah, that doesn't mean actually anything. Okay, yeah, never mind.
Oh man, I had a gallbladder when there was news most recently from that. That's over a year
okay.
ago.
So based off from Cinema Blend, I don't know if they're reputable or not, but they've got a guy
moderately.
Okay. Well, they've got a guy saying they've got test screenings going. That the word is it's decent and it seems to adhere to the original cut by Josh Boone, and so it's more of a scary horror movie.
Cool.
That's what I wanted to see. I thought the trailer looked great. It's got a good
exactly.
cast. I mean, Josh Boone is the kid who's doing the new Stand series for CBS All Access. Apparently, he wrote to Stephen King as a kid and got like a lettered response, and so they've been like pen pals for years, which is kind of crazy. And so I don't know. I was really curious what he was going to do with the property. I liked the New Mutants story that they were tackling, and I don't know. It'll be a travesty if nobody gets to see it. I don't think it's like never going to see the light of day, but I don't think it's getting a theatrical release. That's for sure.
Daniel Hammond says Joker officially gets an R rating.
I was going to mention that. There's a new trailer being dropped on Wednesday. There was a bunch of short little clips that they threw on the Joker Instagram. That there's one where he like gets into a refrigerator and shuts the door, and it's like really strange. And there's a couple other little amusing bits, but yeah, we see some more Robert De Niro.
That's always good.
Yeah,
Always down for some Robert De Niro.
indeed.
Did you know that the animals they are using for Lady and the Tramp remake are rescues and were in animal shelter?
Yeah,
No, I didn't know that.
That's very
cute.
cool.
I approve. I'm trying. I can't decide if they need to have We Are Siamese in there for the purist, or if that's too racist for 2019.
Ooh, good call.
I don't know.
I love
It seems
that
like
song.
something they probably. Yeah, right. They probably focus group the hell out of that too.
Yeah, maybe they don't. Please, I don't know.
Do we have any other news?
There's little bits here and there. They keep casting more for the Mortal Kombat film that James Wan is producing. They've almost rounded out the cast entirely. They cast Kano and this actress who I believe oh goodness, I would have to just click on the story real quick. But yeah, they've cast their Raiden, they've cast their Liu Kang, so that is filming right now in Australia. So that's
Cool.
fairly exciting, I would say. Bill and Ted Face the Music officially wrapped filming. So that is that's about to start going into the editing bay, and Samara Weaving actually playing the young progeny of Ted Theodore Logan. So that's kind of dope. So she's going to be one of the daughters because both Bill and Ted to have daughters in the film, which is kind of an interesting counterbalance. And
Also,
I mean,
Kelly Carlin, who is George Carlin's daughter, will be in the film. I don't know
I
to what degree.
That's interesting.
yeah, not having Rufus is really just gonna
Yeah.
gonna sting, man.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But I mean, really, it was just lots of D23 information. Pixar, debuting some footage from this Onward movie that has Tom Holland and Chris Pratt voicing these two elves, and apparently it's just another one of these very strange Pixar properties that's not a sequel that could potentially endear itself to people. Lots of Eternals news, and the fact that the cast has pretty much been completely rounded out. They added a couple guys from Game of Thrones. Since I don't watch Game of Thrones, I'm not
Kit Harington.
Kit
Yep.
Harington, who plays Snow, if I'm
Jon
not mistaken.
Snow, yep.
Jon Snow.
So, and there's actually a Stephen King property, another one that's being adapted, and it's called The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. It's about this girl who gets lost in the woods and is out there roughing it for about a week or so. They have tried to make it countless times, including George Romero being attached to it at one particular point. It's one of those. It's going to be tough to film because it's really just lots of internal dialogue. It's this girl she gets separated from her family. Parents are, mom is squabbling, little brother and everything, and she's just out in the woods. She has a strange creature that starts stalking her at one particular point. But some of the producers from It are they're going to go and adapt yet another Stephen King property. So let the gluttony of Stephen King properties continue rolling.
Yeah, you can't ride that from the producers of It thing anymore because Pet Sematary surely shot that to shit.
That's true. Did we talk about the Hobbs and Shaw, by the way? I just noticed something.
The China stat?
Yeah, did we bring that up?
Over 100 million, right?
Yeah, 101 million opening weekend in China.
Those movies do well over there, man. It's just like the Star Wars franchise. They're almost more made for those international markets at this particular point. So
you don't need to know English to
enjoy those movies.
Enjoy action, sure.
Yeah. Oof.
On the flip side, I watched Godzilla vs. King Kong for the first time ever last week.
Oh, what do you think?
Oh, it's dated. It's certainly dated. Men in big rubber outfits, Godzilla flexing, jumping up and down for a little bit, throwing rocks at each other, and Asians in blackface. So I didn't quite know how to feel about that. That was the movie's older than I think my mother, so it's old. It's from the late 50s, early 60s, but it's just
someone just dated his mother. Someone just dated.
But yeah, I don't know why I brought that up. What was the weird segue? I don't just. I guess some CGI is necessary. I guess after watching that movie, we've come a long way, and
Cecil and I yesterday for a patron recorded a review of Godzilla 1984, the one that was recut with Perry Mason for American audiences and stuff. But we watched the original Japanese version from '84, and it's kind of lifeless, and I mean, especially the set design and the destruction of some of these buildings, and you're like, buildings don't get crushed like that. They look like cardboard, and it's just, and that was in '84. We're talking 30 years after the original Godzilla. So I mean,
tanks being pulled on strings, just like, come on, man.
There it is. Yeah.
I need to watch one of those old Godzilla movies just to revel in those effects. Like I've seen a couple of them, but some of them are just delightful.
There was a certain point where I'm like, there's first of all, the UN had its own television channel in the movie.
Oh, as it does, yeah.
Because like the UN network, as you always tune into, old fourth wall break on both sides. It was a joint project between Japanese and American directors, so it was a really, really weird thing, and within 20 minutes, you're like, all right, this is not a serious movie. Let me just enjoy myself. And it's silly. It is a silly movie, a little dated. Some of the terminology and stuff is a little dated. So like I said, some Asian
blackface Asians.
Yeah, it's just okay, all right, well,
it's a lot to deal with.
Yep.
It's a mouthful. Blackface Asian. That's
a good death metal band.
From Mongolia.
Yeah. So is that it for the news for this wonderful month of August?
I think that's
about
it.
the extent of
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
What's coming in first this week, gents?
Sahu. Saho. Yeah, Saho.
Honestly, I think it's going to be the Don't Let Go, but by a very slim margin. I think it'll make maybe 15, 16, maybe something like that. Angel Has Fallen will probably. Honestly, Angel Has Fallen might not be too. I kind of think Good Boys is going to hang around, man. Good Boys, it's got that word of mouth going. I mean, it's that might be my 2. Angel Has Fallen will totally be 3. Maybe Overcomer hangs around. All those faith-based people.
Yeah,
keep
linger.
hanging. Maybe that's our 4, and then probably Hobbs at 5. I'd say.
Yeah, Hobbs and Shaw is definitely still in the top 5.
Does the movie in first place make more than 20 million this week?
No way.
No.
Not a chance.
Okay.
Yeah, despite being Labor Day weekend, I just
Uh-huh.
If there was a big release, don't let go. I mean, I feel like there was an audience for it. It looks like a competently made, thriller of that variety that, has some of that family type appeal and whatnot. So, yeah, that's easily going to win, but I don't see it making more than 20 mil. No way.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say 14, 15 is probably a safe bet there.
Yep. I agree. Wholeheartedly. I think whatever it is, I actually think Angela Has Fallen. If it doesn't have bad word of mouth, which does it have any word of mouth? Is the other question.
Actually, now that I think about it, though, with being reinserted into theaters with extra footage, this Far From Home with those 4 extra minutes, does that sneak back into the top 5?
A top 5, possibly. Sure.
Yeah.
Top 5, sure.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Far From Home?
Yeah, the extended cut is being released on Friday, and
Wow,
it's
it would
adding
have to
4
climb
more
10
minutes of footage.
Yeah, okay, it'd have to climb 10 places, but I can see that, yeah.
Dude, the week before Avengers, Captain Marvel was in like the top 10, and it was just off the grid for a while. So I could totally see that happening.
Yeah, maybe that pushes Hobbs out of the 5 position, and it gets in there at like 4 or 5. I mean, if it only has to make look at how those 3 through 4 all made around 8 million. I could see Far From Home with all that change that it made, sneaking in and making 7, 8, 9 million bucks and getting in that top 5. Maybe
it's in the news now too. Yeah, people are reminded of it. Oh yeah,
they're like, it's the last Disney Spider-Man. Oh, we got to go see it. But it's like 4 extra minutes. They're gonna put maybe one more scene in there. It's like, come on, man.
CP, do you agree that Joaquin Phoenix's Joker looks like Ronald McDonald? Without a wig, sure, I'll give you that. Sarah says, Fuego, your hair looks good.
Thanks, Sarah. Long days and pleasant nights, madam. And I'm glad that you're still holding that hope for that Dog Liker movie.
Lindsay, what do you got? You got anything? What do you got for us? You got
nothing to report right now.
Okay. I was gonna say Lindsay again. Fuego, what you got? What you got?
Well, so just today, I put up my review on Infuegotainment for Good Boys. I'm about to record a review for Loose, which it was in limited and it went wide, at least in my area here just this past weekend. So that's with Naomi Watts and Tim Roth. They adopt this young 10-year-old boy from a war-torn area of Africa. They bring him back to the States, and he goes through all kinds of therapy and stuff, but somehow transforms himself into valedictorian caliber, head of the student body, debate team, track and field star. But he's got kind of a mean streak to him a little bit, and you think maybe that's just a little bit of a byproduct and leftover aspect from where he was born. But he has this like war of wills of sorts with. Oh boy, I'm trying to remember. Octavia Spencer, I want to say. She was seen earlier this year in Ma. Really tremendous performances in this film, and it has a lot of social and racial commentary that it addresses. And it was originally a play, and they kind of added some characters and turned it into a feature film. So I'm going to have a review of that for Infuegotainment, and then Cecil and I also have all kinds of radness on the horror show. We just put up our trailer reaction for Antlers, which is the Guillermo del Toro produced thing. We put that up this morning, And yeah, that actually looks really badass. Kerry Russell, legitimately scary. Also got reactions for Underwater, the Kristen Stewart movie coming.
Oh.
Villains, which is the one with Bill Skarsgård and Micah Moore, I want to say, the girl from It Follows. That's a really strange dark comedy of sorts. So trailers coming this week for that on the Horror Show channel.
And Emily and I just did a live commentary for The Gate last night. That's on the channel here. You can watch me watch the Star Wars trailer in real time for my first experience. I woke up and found out and rushed with my phone. You can get a genuine first experience. I'm not much of a reactor, but you have that. Patrons of this channel will have something very interesting. We crossed one of those thresholds where I need to recreate a scene from a movie. We will be filming that this week, and you'll be getting a sneak peek of that, which will go public on the channel, but Patreon will have some behind the scenes stuff, some early access stuff.
Nice.
I think
Very
that's
cool.
Yeah. Somebody figured it out the other day, which was troubling, but I digest. So, other than that, I can't wait to get back to you guys next week to discuss "Don't Let Go," where we'll probably yes, and Sahu.
Don't Let Go. Great song from the Weezer Green album.
But that will be the It 2 preparation episode. So that be expecting us to be heavy on that, the way we were on Star Wars.
What night are you seeing it, man? Do you have early for it?
That's Warner, right? I might.
It's Warner. Yeah, we're seeing it on Tuesday in the IMAX.
Yeah,
So.
I might. I'll know better in a couple of days, but Warner usually I'm pretty good with. Usually.
Usually. They're a little temperamental.
Mostly.
Mostly. All right, so that does it for this one, guys. Why don't you say good night.
Good
night,
night,